And now it's time for Coach's Comments, presented by Southside Auto Tech. I'm Cristiano Simona, joined alongside by Stars head coach and GM Cody Chupp. And Cody, it was a 5-3 win for the Stars over the Phantoms. And you always stress work ethic and working and competing and driving through adversity and perseverance. Well, when a team like Youngstown keeps tying up the game repeatedly through the middle of the game and even in the first period, did you like your guys' response in that third period to get that early one from Bremer and really lock down the hatches and make sure to minimize any chance from the Phantoms from that point on?
Yeah, the fact that Brock was the guy that scored that goal, too, I think is very telling, and whether you want to call them the hockey gods or karma or whatever it is. But Brock took a beating tonight and stayed the course. He didn't complain. He didn't take a retaliatory penalty. He just kept going, and for him to get that one that put us over the top in the third period was huge, not only for us, but a great reward for him. And yeah, I think Youngstown is one of those teams that's going to do this to a lot of people, and the way they play, and for anyone that watched the game tonight, it was pretty evident what their game plan was, and that was to finish every check and to live off a couple opportunities that they may get or we may give them. And they were successful at it. And, I think for us, what I liked most is our resiliency in that and our refusal to be pushed around, especially in our own building. And our response every single time, not only did we stick up for each other and protect each other, but we found a way to get the win, which at the end of the day is the important thing, right, is the score at the end of the night. So I was proud of our response from last night to tonight. I was proud of our response throughout the course of this game, and that one feels good. It's a good statement for us, not necessarily because we scored a lot of goals or they were overly exciting or pretty, but because of our resiliency and to show that we've played a couple very different teams now throughout the course of our young season, and to have a team come in here with the amount of jam and bite. Youngstown's built for buildings like this. They're small. There's not a lot of places to go. You're going to get hit every time you touch the puck, and that's a credit to them. But I liked our resiliency through that tonight.
You mentioned Brock Bremer's ability to keep battling through those hits, taking hits to make plays, but how about Jake Bultman? I mean, he gets absolutely clocked behind the crease in the first period, draws that 5-minute major. Of course, you guys don't get anything on it, but guess who's out there, the second power play unit, towards the end of that 5-minute major? It's Jake Bultman. Can you talk about his toughness as well as the entire team's ability to not let the stuff like that, whether it's in between the whistles or after the whistles, phase the guys and cause them to take penalties like you alluded to in the previous question?
Yeah, well, first of all, Jake's going to have to cancel his modeling commitments for the upcoming week. But, you take a hit like that and, you're pissed off, and all you want to do is get out there and make him pay. So that's the competitor in Jake, and no question he's a tough kid. I don't think anyone that has ever met him or have ever been around him would question that. And he got hit in the face, I think, at least once, maybe two more times throughout the course of the game. So he's going to be a little bit raw for the rest of the night. But no, I appreciate our willingness to stay composed, and that doesn't mean backing down in situations. That means understanding the game and understanding the bigger picture. And I thought for the most part we did a pretty good job of that tonight. There were a couple times we got distracted with what was going on after the whistles, but ultimately our power play had success, which it had to tonight. And if you play a team like this and you stay composed, you're going to get opportunities on the power play, and it's a great opportunity for you to make them pay.
How good can Matt Barberini be when he's firing on all cylinders like he was tonight with those 2 goals and obviously that dazzling move in tight, backhand to forehand underneath the bar, but also his line as a whole? Because Barberini, Lapina, and Bremer didn't get much going last night against Des Moines, but when they're playing through all 3 zones, I'm not sure who can beat these guys through a full set of 20 minutes or whatever they're on the ice for.
Yeah, they're a great complement to each other, and Barb's is, you saw his game tonight. The way that he's effective is when he's skating, when he's competing for that middle ice, especially when he's using his speed wide. And, he scored that early power play goal where he kind of boxed the guy out, used his size and his strength. And that was huge for him, coming back from a little injury, to get himself into that game right away, to be engaged. And then the second goal that he scored, I think if you watch Barb's throughout the course of his career, you're going to see quite a few of those. His ability to beat guys wide is very good, and he has deceptive, smooth speed that's really tough to judge and play. The next step to that is demanding that middle ice back, and if you use your speed and you end up at the goal line outside the dots, it's not real effective for you. What he did really well in that play is he got the step, he demanded that middle ice back, and it was just a fantastic finish.
Last question for you, Cody. What do you expect Youngstown to bring tomorrow? Do you expect more of that bite that you saw, the familiar way they play, or do you think they'll deviate and that'll give you guys some opportunities to really capitalize on what they turned over in terms of mistakes of the neutral zone? Because when you're trying to hit so much, and Ryan Kessler infamously said during the 2015 Western Conference Final against the Blackhawks, no human could withstand that many hits. Do you expect them to throw their body around a little more, or maybe try and play a skilled game?
No, I expect them to be who they are, and traditionally, if you've watched Youngstown play, that's kind of their MO, and not that it's a bad thing. They've found a lot of success doing it, and they find ways to stay in games and live off opportunities because they have a group of forwards that can score when they get those opportunities. So I would expect them to come out, physical, ready to play through everybody. They're going to try to push us around early, and we need to respond in the manner that we did tonight and improve on some areas in our own game. I would expect them to try to play that quick transition game that we saw a little bit later in the game, and we need to shore up some things in our own details to make sure we're ready for it.
5 wins in the last 6 games for the Lincoln Stars. I'm Cristiano Simonetta, joined alongside by Stars head coach and GM Cody Chupp. That was Coach's Comments presented by Southside Auto Tech. Stars win 5-3 over the Youngstown Phantoms.